Be honest and let me know down in the comments below. How many of these items do you think people bought with the best intentions of keeping and using for themselves versus knowing full well that they intended to turn around and sell it in pristine new condition for a premium? Welcome or welcome back to A Briefcase of Luxury, where we love to chat about all things related to life, learning, and luxury. And while I have no intentions of quitting my day job as a business professor, I would love to continue to grow this channel, so thank you for being here today. Y'all know I have been all about the pre-loved sites these days because prices are just getting better and better, for most bags at least. I mean, even the prices for Hermes and Chanel, like their most sought after bags, those seem to have calmed down a bit. Like, it's easier to find mini Kellys at under $20,000, which still sounds stupid, but hey, that's still down from an average of what, $30,000? Same with the Kelly 25s. You can find these more readily available for around the $15K mark. And when quota bag prices start to come down, so too do the non-quota bag prices, but maybe not as drastically. I guess the premium gap has just shrunk proportionally all around for a lot of different bags, but I'm getting sidetracked. So I added my Louis Vuitton vintage Murakami Favin PM tote earlier this year, and unfortunately I moved slower than I should have because by the time I pulled the trigger, prices have already began to rise as the new 2025 Murakami drops began to drop. And I have mentioned several times that while I have no interest for the most part in buying from the 2025 collection, my interest has somewhat renewed for the vintage pieces. However, it's so hard to ignore the sheer number of pieces from the 2025 drop that have recently flooded the pre-loved sites, for better or for worse. Now, if you are someone who bought new from the store earlier this year and have consigned your purchases since or sold them to places like Fashion File, please know I mean you no offense, because I am sure you have your reasons. Plus, more importantly, it's absolutely none of my business. And also, please know I am not coming from this from like a place of anger as someone who is like unable to buy new from store, okay? So this isn't me being petty or whiny, but seriously, I cannot believe the number of new pristine giftable pieces that I'm seeing on pre-loved sites right now. Which can only mean one of two things, right? Either all of these people wholeheartedly bought from this collection because they thought they would love it, but turns out that they didn't, or that they bought it because they had the opportunity to buy it knowing that they were going to try to flip it for a small profit, right? If not, we wouldn't be seeing so many pieces so soon. And if it's the latter, then hey, I get it. It's easy money, right? I'm not going to lie. I've bought bags from the Hermes boutique because the opportunity presented itself to me to buy a bag, even if it's not the bag I asked for. And all the while, I had that safety light blinking in the back of my head telling me that, hey, if it doesn't work out, then not to worry. It's not all money down the drain, right? But in all of these instances, I at least gave it the old college try, right? Like, these bags have been used, the stickers have been unstickered, and I get that it takes using a bag to fully accept that it's not going to work out. But if it's the former in this case, as in you bought it because you fell in love with it, sight unseen, maybe you saw it like in the sneak peek photos, you made the effort to pre-order and to pay up front, and sure, maybe you were excited when you finally received it and unboxed it, but as quickly as you fell in love with it, you fell out of love even quicker. And if that's the case, then what does it say about this new collection? Like, either you weren't thinking it through and you were just caught up in the hype, or you weren't able to buy the exact item you wanted, so you settled for something else in the collection because it was available and now you're regretting it, or the collection just isn't that great, right? Either in terms of the quality, which we've all seen some issues there, or the style, like when it finally dawns on you that sure, it's cute and it's collectible, but you'll never realistically wear it. And it took you being able to get your hands on it to realize that, yeah, you could do without it. But then again, why not just return it to the store, right? Why sell it onto the pre-loved market instead, especially if it's still in giftable condition? Now, I also get that the return window may have closed on you, but then why did you let that window close? Again, I get it. People on YouTube seem to be notorious about waiting to unbox a bag for the sake of the channel, and they'll wait for months if necessary to get the timing and the pacing right. I'm sorry, that's just not how I roll. Plus, I want to say that when it came to the Murakami drop, people were unboxing their stuff immediately, right? Like, I get it. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. I'm not saying that these pieces were sold off by influencers or that they are the only ones to wait around to unbox or use a bag. Again, please let me clarify that I'm not interested in the new 2025 collection. So this isn't me whining about the marked up premiums on the Preloved sites and lamenting that people shouldn't be so greedy to buy things that they didn't really want, because there are people out there who would have really treasured the opportunity to have bought a new from store and it would have meant a lot to them. But this is what a free market looks like, right? You have the right to buy and then sell your pieces, and someone else has the right to buy your pieces at whatever price they deem is worth paying. And I love that about the preloved market and how much it's grown over time and how safe it's gotten, at least safer than back in the days at least. But the other thing is I'm noticing that a lot of these pieces have just kind of been sitting around on these preloved sites and eventually getting marked down. So it seems as though even preloved in pristine condition, these pieces still aren't quite flying off the shelves. Now it could be that even marked down, they are still at a premium, or maybe they are flying off the shelves to some extent, but the stock is just so plentiful. I think all of this goes hand in hand with the fact that by the time we got to the cherry drop, we're all suffering from Murakami fatigue and frustration just from the way Louis Vuitton handled their previous two drops, which is why I was so surprised, but not surprised, when there were still pieces left to purchase, even when I went in store like a month after the last drop. And even now, if you check on the Louis Vuitton website, there are some pieces that will pop back up as available to purchase online. So all of that to say, I love shopping preloved, I really do, but to pay premium on the preloved market is something that I've never been comfortable with, but sometimes there's no getting around it, right? Because even the vintage pieces that I'm currently tracking, they're not at their vintage prices, not even close. Like, I will be paying a premium for these vintage pieces, which is what I had to do here. I know that these didn't retail in store for more than $1,000, but you're not going to be able to find anything from the vintage collection at the original prices in good condition. Now, they may not quite be at the 2025 collection prices, but it's gonna be a premium nonetheless. And while I'm not exactly feeling icky about seeing all of these new pieces available on the Preloved site, since I have no plans on buying any of them, I just can't help but think, man, why did so many people buy these just to turn around and sell them? And it's for all of the reasons that I just listed. This is just a quick and dirty sit down video because my hunt for the vintage pieces keep getting interrupted by new drops. So it's slowing me down a bit, but I would love to know your thoughts on this and what you've seen and what you think. What do you think of all of these giftable 2025 Murakami pieces that are now available to buy preloved? Anyways, thank you so much for sticking around to the bitter end of the video. And if you enjoyed your time here, then please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I can't wait to see you next time.